This channel is not for motivation. It is not for comfort. It is for those who want to understand how power actually operates. But first, subscribe to the Machiavellian Codex now. Once you see the structure behind human behavior, you cannot return to ignorance. Now listen, from childhood, you were evaluated by a standard that was never designed to measure intelligence. You were ranked by grades, scores, titles, credentials. You were taught that intelligence meant speed, memory, obedience, and performance. That definition was not an accident. It was a filter. Real intelligence has never been about knowing facts. It has never been about sounding impressive. True intelligence is agency. It is the capacity to influence outcomes. It is the ability to adapt, exploit, endure, and impose direction. It is survival with awareness. Those who ruled history understood this instinctively, while the majority competed to look intelligent. A small minority learned how to be effective. There is a hierarchy, not of morality, not of goodness, but of perception and control. Most people never climb past the bottom. Level 1, the unaware. This is where the majority live and die. The unaware are not necessarily unintelligent. They can be educated, articulate, credentialed. They can quote experts and repeat complex ideas. But their thinking is reactive. They do not choose. They respond. They do not decide. They comply. They wake when told to wake. They believe what is presented as consensus. They repeat opinions that feel socially safe. They believe their thoughts are their own. They are wrong. Their beliefs are borrowed. Their values are installed. Their outrage is scheduled. They exist within an external locus of control. Everything that happens is someone else's fault. The system, the economy, their upbringing, their luck. Freedom terrifies them. Autonomy feels like abandonment. They crave structure, authority, and permission. They need to know what to think before they feel safe thinking it. These are the background figures of civilization. They fill space. They power systems. They are replaced without consequence. If you are truly here, you have already begun to exit this level. But awakening does not bring clarity immediately. It brings noise. Level 2, the performer. This is where ego is born. The performer realizes the world is a game, that intelligence signals status, that appearing informed earns approval, but instead of thinking independently, they borrow identities. They memorize language without understanding. They adopt positions without conviction. They quote thinkers they have never wrestled with. Intelligence becomes aesthetic. Degrees become ornaments. Opinions become costumes. Beliefs become tools for social validation. This is the most seductive trap, because at this level you feel superior. You look down on the unaware. You think you have awakened. You haven't. You are simply performing a different role. The performer panics when challenged. They react aggressively to disagreement. They argue to win, not to understand. They know enough to sound intelligent, but not enough to realize how little they know. They mistake appearance for substance, signal for power. This is where many remain forever. Level 3, the strategist. Here, something changes. The strategist no longer cares about applause. They care about results. They recognize that rules are flexible, that morals are contextual, that incentives govern behavior more than ideals. They study motives. They analyze fear and desire. They optimize interactions. This is the level of calculation. They advance not through effort alone, but through positioning. They understand when to speak and when to remain silent, who to align with, who to ignore. But there is a cost. When everything becomes a transaction, connection disappears, trust evaporates, paranoia grows. The strategist assumes everyone is playing the same game. They are always alert, always watching. They gain success. but lose peace. Many stop here. Wealthy, respected, restless. They are winning, but still trapped inside the game. Level 4, the commander. The commander does not merely calculate. They act. They impose direction. They accept conflict. They shoulder responsibility. Where others hesitate, they move. People follow them not because they are subtle, but because they are decisive. They create momentum. They generate order. This is leadership through force of will and execution. But visibility is dangerous. The commander becomes a target. Their power depends on presence. Their absence creates collapse. They carry everything, and eventually, it breaks them. They mistake control for freedom, and exhaustion for dominance. Level 5, the influencer. Here, power becomes invisible. The influencer understands that force creates resistance, but desire creates obedience. They do not command. They shape perception. They construct narratives. They guide choices without appearing involved. Others believe they acted freely. That is the illusion. The influencer operates through proxies, through systems, through suggestion. But identity dissolves. Masks replace self. Detachment replaces connection. They gain influence, but lose humanity. Many believe this is the peak. It is not, because they are still playing on the board. Level 6, the architect. The architect does not move pieces. They design the board. They understand that behavior follows environment, that control is structural. They build systems, institutions, platforms, ideologies. While others fight over outcomes, the architect owns the mechanism. They think in decades, in generations. They are not emotional about results. They rig probabilities. This is rare intelligence. But even here, attachment remains. The architect still cares about the creation. There is one level beyond this. Level 7. The void. This level cannot be taught. It is subtraction, not accumulation. No identity, no attachment, no need for recognition. The void desires nothing and therefore cannot be controlled. You cannot threaten what does not fear loss. You cannot manipulate what does not seek validation. The void acts only when necessary, withdraws when complete. It is clarity without emotion, power without display. This is not nihilism, it is sovereignty. The void uses all other levels as tools, but lives in none of them. Now the mirror is in front of you. Where are you? Most of you move between performance and strategy, aware enough to see the game, still craving approval. That is not failure, that is the beginning. But understand this, the system is not designed for ascent. Education creates compliance, institutions reward imitation, structures punish independence. To rise, you must betray comfort. You must release the need to be liked, the need to be safe, the need to be seen as good. Intelligence is not morality, it is effectiveness. You do not climb by adding information, you climb by removing illusions. If this resonated, you already know what to do. Subscribe to the Machiavellian Codex. Most will not. That is the point. The mountain is cold, but the view reveals everything.